Hey everyone, I thought I'd walk you through a couple things on a problem I'm having with my Ford F-150 King Ranch 2009. My problem began basically where the door wouldn't lock and unlock automatically with the auto lock from any of the controls. So from the front driver's panel or from the panel itself within the door. I did some research and found out that there's a lot of times that the wiring will pinch on those repeated opening and closing of the door and break some of those cables in there and cause that a problem. And that's exactly what I have. The problem that I ran into, however, that you don't see or no one really has talking about or haven't heard anybody talk about, couldn't find anything, was on the replacement parts. So most of the F-150 2009s through 14 have this have a harness, wiring harness, and this is the one that I bought to replace, and it looked exactly like everything in my vehicle until I got to this connector. And this connector does not fit my 2009, although this is made, and this is a Ford assembly, is made for an F-150 2009 through 2014. If you look before that, they have a connector. It's a little different. It's a little squarer, and it has a bunch of holes in here rather than having this very slimline connector the way this is right here. And that doesn't fit mine either. Actually, my vehicle seems to wire all the way back to the wiring harness. So when you pull back the sleeves here that are between your door, so this is in between your door, this would be onto the to the frame of the vehicle, and this would be connected into the door, and closing and opening all the time is where it puts all that pressure on there. But anyway, when I pull mine out, there's no plug. It's just a wiring assembly that goes all the way back into the vehicle body and down to the main wiring of the vehicle and continues on throughout the back and goes forward, of course, to the front. So there's no real connector like this to make it real simple for me on the F-150 that I have. So you only have a couple choices really, and one is to take everything apart, all of this wrapped cabling, and try to figure out where your broken one was. Of course, starting here, because this is very likely where that issue is going to be, is in between here somewhere. So you have to pull this back and go on and get that figured out. So that's what I did. I pulled that back today, and I'll show you what I ran into in just a few minutes. Right now I'm in the garage and just grabbing up a few things that I need to do, and thought I'd do a video real quick just to let you guys know that you might have a unique situation that no one else has talked about, or that these assemblies don't fit. So definitely be better than me, smarter than me, and go out and check that vehicle before you buy the assembly. Now, I'm out 50 bucks. I'll return it. It's not a big deal. I'm not going to worry about it. It's like, like I said, 50, 60 bucks. But anyway, I'll return it, and bought it off of Ford Assembly out of Amazon. But it, of course, doesn't fit my vehicle. So I'll show you what I ran into and how I figured out what I got. So I'll be with you in a few moments. So here's what I have. When I unwrapped this, pulled this out, of course, you can see there's no connector like there was on that other piece. And of course, nothing on this side either. That just goes back into the door side here, and then this one goes back in here. But if I follow this cabling all the way through, I actually pop this off of the inside, and I just have wiring that goes all the way back, you can see, and goes back down to the bottom, hits that main wiring assembly going all the way front and back. So let me go ahead and take a moment here to tell you I'm not a mechanic. I work in medical IT, but I do like to know what I'm doing, and I like to figure things out. So that's what I'm trying to do right now. So as you can see, I'll show you right here, when I unwrap the cable, here's my problem. So the first thing was my door would not unlock, and then after a while of that, then I started to have the problem where the door sensor says the door's ajar all the time, or the door's always open. So assuming those two are shorting together, now that second break has occurred right there, as you can see on that purple and gray wire, or this brown and gray wire, whichever one broke first. But that's what I have. And then of course, when that happens, you always have the dinging going on, or the door's ajar on your assembly on the front, your panel, and your lights won't turn off. It takes about 30 minutes for your lights to turn off when you close your doors, because it just waits and waits and waits, thinking that door's still open. And that also affects the back light that goes into your truck bed and so on. So it takes a long time to figure all that out, but here we are. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to fix that right there. I'm going to do some soldering on there, solder another piece of wire into that, cut it clean, solder it in, and go from there. All right, figured I'd show you halfway through. I got one finished right there, and if you got some heat shrink, please use that. That looks a lot better, and I'm hoping I cut it really big out, gapped it a little bit, because I figured if the problem's there, then I wanted to put new wire in and where the problem area was, so I gapped it back an inch or more on both sides, and I have this other one set up. I also like these cool little magnetic clamps I bought on Amazon. Those help when you're soldering. Again, I'm not a mechanic, I just dabble here and there, and you can, if you saw my my soldering jobs, you'd understand why I say that. But anyway, they're pretty awesome, and I'm about to start this next one. All right, so I got it all buttoned up. I got everything secured back on the way it should be. I got the door panel back on and everything back the way it should be happening. So and everything seems to be working fine. I tested it before I put it all back together, of course, because, you know, that's just smart business. But as you can see, that's working again. And I started the vehicle a few moments ago, and when the vehicle's running, I don't have the doors ajar anymore. So problem solved. Easy enough to do, just finding those wires, but that brace is almost always going to be right in this area here. So when you pull back this sleeve, you're going to find it simple enough, I'm sure. And again, it's just from the door opening and closing. So will it happen again? Maybe. But I wouldn't recommend using any type of connectors in here, like quick connects or anything like that. I don't think that would do you any good, again, because of the motion always opening and closing. So it could break those pretty simply as well. I would do like I did and just cut and solder in some pieces and hope that holds pretty well. Taped it all back up inside, wrapped it real well so that it would slide in and good. So everything should be fine, and everything's working for now.